We continue coverage of Python strings. Let's go back to our source file. And I would like to mention that another very useful feature of Python strings is index access to individual characters. This is well covered in our online book, but I'd like to run a quick demo of this before we move to the next segment. And what it means is that we can use square bracket syntax to use index to access individual characters in a string. Well, perhaps let's try to continue on this line, and we can try something like this because we know, let's add a comment that this prints hello 1, 2, 3. It means that we of course have this text which is referenced by this variable greeting, which is a string, and the reason I'd like to mention this here is that the index of the first character, so first character in the string is h, lowercase h. Its index, you may be guessing, maybe it's 1, right, because it's the first character, but in reality it's the index of the first or initial character in a string is 0. Okay, so it's 0. The next character's index is 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so forth, right? If we had more of these, so the index of the first character is actually h. Okay, so this is the index of the first h character is 0. So let's try demonstrating this, and this time instead of printing a greeting, well, we can actually print greeting. In fact, we can print both. For the sake of demonstration, we can print our little ruler here. This ruler that I put together to indicate what kind of index to expect for individual characters, and then we'll print a greeting, and then we will print on the next line what we call index access to individual characters. So we use square brackets and we provide the index. The index itself can be a numeric value, numeric variable, or it can be just hard-coded number. So 0 would or should return character h, a lowercase h character, in the first or initial position of the sequence of characters inside our string. Let's do a quick run of this. So the second time of printing here is, I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to change this and run it like this. Let's see what this shows us. So I hit continue. Oh, I still have this little problem here, which I need to eliminate, right? So we tried to reproduce this type error in previous segment, previous video. So I'm just going to comment this out, and I'm going to comment this also. Okay, and perhaps we don't need to print the initial setting. Let's just start our printing directly here when we get to this discussion about index access. All right, so just put, I put a lot of comments in my file. So now I'm going to just run it the way it is. And you can see that as expected, so we print our ruler, we print the current content of our string. And when we use index notation, we extract individual character, and the first character is the first index. The index of the first character is 0 and not 1. It's 0 based. So in the book, if you read the current book chapter, it will explain very nicely that the idea behind this 0 based access to individual characters is sort of like how many steps away from the beginning of the string is necessary to reach a specific character. If we're looking at the first character, you're really already standing at the beginning of the string, so there is absolutely no need to move anywhere. So this is why the index is 0. Okay, so index 0 is giving you providing access to the first initial character in a string. So with respect to index access to strings, I'll close this window now. What also I would like to mention is that, of course, if we try the next index, which is 1, is going to give us the next character. Then, of course, if I, according to my ruler, the index of the last character in the string is 7. Okay, so let's just try this. The last index. Let's try run this. Okay, so HE is printed 0, 1, and index 7 gives us access to the last character here. I'm closing this window again. And if we try to step outside of the range of the index of characters that really the characters that are available here, right? So, so the legal range is from 0 to 7. If we try to go to 8 or higher index, and if we try it, knowing that it's going to be outside of the range of available characters, you can see that it generates index error, says string index is out of range. Okay, so this is something to expect, that your program needs to be careful not to attempt to access indices outside of available range of characters, and otherwise you are going to get an error. So clearly this is going to this is something that we need to be aware of. Also, an interesting feature is that just like we can start indexing from the beginning of the string, sometimes it makes sense to attempt to use the index referencing the ending of the string, right? The ending of the string, we know that there's this character 3, digit 3. It's a character inside of our string. So an alternative way of using the numeric index is actually negative index access to characters. Okay, so this is something else that I'd like to mention here. The idea is pretty simple. Just like 0 refers to the first initial character, the last character in the string can be referred with -1. Okay, so -1 should repeat the printing of the last character. Let's give this a try. We run it, and you can see that again the character digit 3 is printed twice, because I printed here with index 7 and with index -1. So we can try, let's close the shell again, and we can try to figure out, so these are this ruler that I used to compute or visualize what indices were available. These are positive, 0 really, and positive indices. But let's try to see what negative indices would be, right? So these would be negative indices. So you can see that there's no beyond this. So -1, I'm just like sort of like saying that this is a -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So this is how the negative indices range would look like. So let's try to repeat access if my computation, if my assumption is correct. If we try -8, we will be printing again the first character. That's my expectation. Of course, we need to verify it by running it. So let's run again. Okay, so again, it prints H. You can see that -8, according to my visualization of negative indices, gives me the correct result. The result that I was expecting was H. Okay, so this works well. Yet let's try to, again, thinking about the legal range of characters, let's try -9, which is something perhaps unexpected because the negative index computation may fail this way. Okay, so let's run again. And this time again, I get this message, which tells me very nicely that my attempt to access character at position -9, this is a non-existing character. It's basically the index is out of range. We get the same error. Just be aware of these different ways to access individual characters using both positive and negative indices. And before we close this segment regarding character index, I would like to also mention here, and this is also covered in our book, any attempt to change a character. Let's just take our first, referencing first character. If we attempt to change that character simply because this is a read-only memory, strings are immutable. If I wanted to change it to something else like uppercase character or something like this, if I try this, if I try running it, you can see that I'm still getting my out of range. So let's comment this out. All right, so this is not allowed. Save again, run again. All right, so it says this does not support a string assignment, but if I try to modify this example, so this is not supported. I just, I can try to assign it a numeric value. This is just simply something that is not possible to do. The string character, the character that belongs to the string cannot be modified. So we're just going to get errors, and this is expected. It just, there's not even a way to assign some sort of new value to a portion of an existing string, because the string is immutable. This is just simply not supported. So I'm going to remove this line. Those were kind of silly attempts to change portion of a string. But this is in essence what we need to be aware of with respect to index access to individual characters inside Python string.